Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the MVP Arena in Albany, New York, and the show just ended. And Monday Night Raw tonight, we got a awful show last week. This week was a very mediocre show, in my opinion. And there was some stuff that I liked, some stuff, of course, I didn't. But tonight on Monday Night Raw, we had Drew McIntyre. He ended up taking on Sami Zayn. We had Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler. We had 2 out of 3 falls match, DIY, Gargano and Ciampa. They ended up taking on Imperium, Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. We had Kayden Carter and Katana Chance. They ended up taking on Natalya and Tegan. We have the Creed brothers versus Dominik Mysterio and JD McDonagh. Of course, the Creed brothers had to go through Dominik and JD in order for them to get to Damian Priest and Finn Balor for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship, which that was supposed to happen tonight, but WWE decided to take it off and push it to another time. And then we had the main event, Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso, and it was for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins defended the title. But overall, Monday Night Raw, just a very mid-show it was, in my opinion. But anyways, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw opened up tonight with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre made his way down to the ring. McIntyre got to the mic, and he ended up welcoming everyone to Monday Night Raw. McIntyre ended up saying that Monday Night Raw is the land where everyone seems to have lost their minds lately. He ended up saying that they're liars, hypocrites, cowards, and just plain idiots. He ended up saying, apparently you can get fired and leave, do whatever in the meantime, and you're instantly forgiven. So the crowd there in Albany were chanting for CM Punk, to which, of course, Punk wasn't on the show tonight. Punk will be on Monday Night Raw next week in Cleveland. So we had McIntyre end up saying that we also have the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins, trying to pull a fast one. He ended up saying that Rollins could have given anyone a title shot. McIntyre ended up saying that he beat Jey Uso the week before, and that Rollins slapped him in the face. So he ended up headbutting, McIntyre ended up headbutting Rollins in the face. So he ended up saying, speaking of Jey Uso, McIntyre ended up sarcastically mentioning that he can give an apology. He ended up saying that Jey ran to Randy Orton with his tail between his legs and begged for forgiveness. So McIntyre ended up saying that Jey's time is coming. So McIntyre ended up saying there's someone he is forgetting, and that guy is Sami Zayn. So Sami Zayn's music ended up hitting. Sami Zayn came out, got a big reaction from the crowd there in Albany. We had the crowd end up chanting for Sami. So Sami got on the mic. He ended up saying that McIntyre has a lot to say about everybody. He ended up saying that McIntyre can say what he wants to his face. So McIntyre ended up saying to Sami that he does have something to say. So McIntyre ended up saying that last week, Sami tried to talk about how unlike he is to him, to McIntyre. He ended up saying that Sami is the one person in the world that deserves to get screwed over by the bloodline. He ended up saying that Sami was part of the bloodline and that he was their lapdog and errand boy. So he ended up saying that Sami joined the bloodline because he was run away from him. He ended up saying then Sami screwed the bloodline over. He ended up saying, what the hell did he think would happen? He ended up saying that Sami deserved it. So McIntyre ended up saying, it's the truth. So Sami ended up saying that McIntyre is right and that he was wrong. Sami wants to say that he was wrong in thinking they're alike. He ended up saying the more he listens to McIntyre, the more he realizes they're nothing alike. And Sami ended up saying that he is not a delusional person and that he doesn't point his finger at everyone else for his shortcomings. So Sami ended up saying that when he lost in front of his family and let everyone down in his championship opportunity, he was the one that kept on going. So Sami ended up saying that he stayed hungry, and it carried him to the main event of WrestleMania. So Sami ended up saying that he got redemption and made his family proud. So he ended up saying, does McIntyre think he's making his family proud? So McIntyre got furious at that. So McIntyre ended up saying, one of them is not walking out of here tonight. So McIntyre demanded a referee. So then that's how the segment ended. But I thought this was a decent segment to open Monday Night Raw here. Drew McIntyre coming out there, saying, oh, everyone seems to have lost their minds lately on Monday Night Raw. And this is the land of that. And also Sami Zayn, saying to McIntyre, when, he lost his championship opportunity, he stayed, hungry, and it carried him to the main event of WrestleMania, and that he got redemption. I thought that was, pretty well said by Sami Zayn. Overall, decent segment it was. Then we went to the first match of the night, Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. Now, I thought this was a very good match here. Both McIntyre and Sami Zayn put on one hell of a match here. Wrestling was good from both McIntyre and Sami Zayn. So the match ended up started. McIntyre ended up powering Sami Zayn to the corner, and he ended up tossing Sami Zayn with the overhead belly-to-belly suplex, which looked crazy. McIntyre then pulled Sami to his feet, ended up chopping away at Sami's chest, and then McIntyre ended up punching Sami Zayn in the head and took Sami down. Sami then rolled out of the ring to recover. We had a chant of "Let's go, Sami," to which I don't know if that was piped in or not, because the crowd wasn't really chanted as the camera panned over to the hard camp side of the crowd. So it must have been a piped in chant done in the back in the production truck. So McIntyre bounced Sami Zayn off the apron. He lifted Sami. Sami ended up sliding off. He ended up sending McIntyre into the ring post. Sami ended up taking it to McIntyre. He then got in the ring, and then he ended up pinning a somersault senton to McIntyre. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Sami Zayn was in control of the match. He ended up knocking McIntyre away. McIntyre responded with a chop that sent Sami out of the ring. Sami then ended up attacking McIntyre with some chops. McIntyre ended up quickly reversing the whip into the barricade to Sami, but Sami leapt to the top of the barricade. Sami then ended up hitting a moonsault block and took down McIntyre. Sami Zayn powered McIntyre into the ring. As Sami Zayn got inside, McIntyre ended up flooring Sami with a clothesline. McIntyre started mounting away at Sami Zayn, started punching him. McIntyre ended up pulling Sami Zayn to his feet, ended up chopping Sami back down. McIntyre then pulled Sami up. He ended up decking Sami with a chop to his chest. So Sami ended up taking a moment to recover, and he ended up chopping McIntyre, but McIntyre ended up chopping Sami Zayn down. McIntyre started stomping away at Sami Zayn's limbs. Sami Zayn stumbled to the corner and elbowed McIntyre back. Sami Zayn ended up going to the second rope. He ended up knocking McIntyre back. So Sami ended up coming off the second rope. And this is where the spot came into play, through the match. When Sami came off the second rope, he ended up delivering a flying elbow to McIntyre's head, and Sami ended up tweaking his ankle when he landed, off the second rope and delivered that flying elbow to McIntyre. So, that spot came into play with McIntyre, going to attack that ankle of Sami Zayn that he tweaked. So Sami Zayn ended up going for a vertical suplex, but McIntyre ended up fighting out of it. Sami then ended up swinging out of a vertical suplex and sidestepped McIntyre, and he ended up sending McIntyre shoulder first into the ring post, and that led to Sami connected with a textbook vertical suplex to McIntyre. So both McIntyre and Sami Zayn were down here. Sami ended up grabbing his ankle, and both guys got to their feet. Both guys were exchanging punches to each other. Sami ended up hitting the ropes, ended up hitting a tilt-a-whirl tornado DDT to McIntyre. He ended up going for the cover, to which McIntyre ended up kicking out. Sami Zayn headed to the top rope, and he ended up jumping, but McIntyre countered that into an overhead belly-to-belly suplex to Sami Zayn. McIntyre ended up getting him up, and he ended up launching Sami Zayn with a second overhead belly-to-belly suplex. So McIntyre then ended up connected with a neck break to Sami. He then kipped up. So McIntyre ended up, shaking the ropes, just like Ultimate Warrior, angering the crowd. The crowd was booing at McIntyre. Sami Zayn ended up going for a plancha because Sami Zayn ended up clotheslining McIntyre over the top rope. So Sami Zayn went for the plancha, but McIntyre ended up catching Sami Zayn, and McIntyre ended up slinging Sami Zayn over the commentary table. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial there. So then as Monday Night Raw came back from commercial, McIntyre was in control of the match. He ended up attempting an inverted Albany slam, but Sami Zayn ended up countering that into a roll-up, to which McIntyre ended up kicking out. So we have McIntyre end up stopping Sami Zayn with a spine buster and a jackknife pin, to which Sami Zayn ended up kicking out. McIntyre ended up following up with a sit-out powerbomb. He ended up going for the cover, to which Sami Zayn ended up kicking out. And at this point, the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." So McIntyre ended up pulling Sami Zayn to his feet. He ended up putting Sami Zayn on his shoulders. McIntyre started to climb the second rope, still having Sami Zayn on his shoulders. Sami Zayn ended up sliding out of a white noise. He ended up hitting a snap powerbomb to McIntyre. So Sami Zayn ended up going for the cover, and McIntyre ended up kicking out. So we had both Sami Zayn and McIntyre down again. Sami Zayn got up to his feet. He was hobbling around on his ankle that he tweaked earlier. Sami Zayn ended up setting up for the Blue Thunder Bomb, but McIntyre ended up fighting out of it. So Sami Zayn ended up clubbing away at McIntyre. He lifted him up, but McIntyre ended up sliding out. He ended up dropping Sami Zayn with the Glasgow Kiss. McIntyre then sized Sami Zayn up. McIntyre counted down. He did the 3, 2, 1. And he was charging for the Claymore, but Sami Zayn ended up delivering a big boot to McIntyre. And then Sami Zayn hit the Blue Thunder Bomb on McIntyre. He ended up going for the cover, and McIntyre ended up kicking out. So there was a point where McIntyre ended up reversing the whip to Sami Zayn, but Sami Zayn ended up springboarding over McIntyre. Sami Zayn ended up hurting his ankle on the landing, and then Sami Zayn knocked McIntyre back, and he ended up attacking and sending McIntyre over the top rope. So Sami Zayn was trying to go for the plancha, but of course his ankle was too injured to hit the plancha. So McIntyre looked over at Sami Zayn. He ended up hitting Sami Zayn with a chop block to the injured ankle. So Sami Zayn was trying to pull himself up to his feet, but McIntyre ended up laying out Sami Zayn with the Claymore. McIntyre ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Drew McIntyre ended up winning the match. Post-match, the ref ended up checking on Sami Zayn, and he loosened Sami Zayn's boot. McIntyre ended up calling the ref over to raise his arm up. The crowd was booing McIntyre. So McIntyre looked into the camera, and he ended up saying, "And the truth will set you free." And pretty much that was that. But overall, very good match between Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn here. I'm loving what they're doing with McIntyre here. This whole character change for McIntyre is really good. So really loving what they're doing with him. But very good match this was. And then we had Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark was checking on Shayna Baszler, who of course was going to be taking on Nia Jax. So Byron Saxton came over. Byron Saxton ended up asking Shayna Baszler about facing Nia Jax. So Baszler ended up telling Byron Saxton that she put Nia Jax on the shelf for 2 years by breaking her arm. She ended up saying tonight she'll remind Nia Jax of that when she breaks all her limbs. There you go. That was what Shayna Baszler had to say. Shayna Baszler, mentioned that she put Nia Jax on the shelf for 2 years. And, they were, of course, former tag team partners. Yeah, we all want to remember that. And then, we got a promo for SmackDown this Friday, which is going to be, tribute to the troops. So that's going to be taking place on SmackDown on Friday. I will not be, watching SmackDown on Friday. I'll be working late, so don't expect a SmackDown review this Friday. And then we had a video package. It was a highlight reel of Jey Uso. And Jey Uso ended up saying in this reel that a few months ago, he had the chance to dethrone the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and become the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. But it was ripped away from him by the one man he loved more than anyone in the world, his own brother, Jey Uso. So Jey ended up saying that hurt him more than anyone could ever know. Jey ended up saying that he had to walk away. And Jey ended up saying that he convinced himself he was done until he got a call from Cody Rhodes. Jey ended up saying that Cody told him not to quit and be his own man. He ended up saying that the more he thought about it, the more he realized Cody was right. Jey ended up saying for his whole life, he fought for everyone, such as Roman Reigns, his brothers, and his father. And Jey ended up saying now he is fighting for his own legacy. He ended up saying before the titles, the Uso Penitentiary, the face paint, FCW, training, and being broke, it was just him. So Jey ended up saying that Seth Rollins has fought with him and against him. And that tonight, Rollins will find out how hungry he is. So Jey ended up saying that he will prove to himself why they call him Main Event Jey Uso. Now was that, but I thought this was a good highlight reel here for Jey Uso. Him talking about he had the chance to dethrone Roman Reigns and become the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, but it was ripped away from him. I like that. He said for his whole life he fought for everyone. For Roman, his brothers, and his father, and how he's fighting for his own legacy now. I thought that was very well showcased. And then we had Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond was backstage, and Sami Zayn was shown being tended to by a trainer. Jackie Redmond ended up wanting to get an update on Sami Zayn's ankle. But out of nowhere, Drew McIntyre attacked Sami Zayn. McIntyre started punching away at Sami, and McIntyre ended up screaming to Sami that he brought this on himself by talking about his family. So McIntyre ended up saying that he's nothing like Sami, and that Sami brought this onto himself. So McIntyre stomped on Sami Zayn's injured ankle. Sami Zayn was screaming in pain. So Adam Pearce ended up running up with officials, and Adam Pearce had McIntyre be removed. And that was that. I thought this was a good follow-up to the match. Having McIntyre attack Sami Zayn out of nowhere backstage. I didn't, see this coming. I wasn't expecting this, but thought it was, a good backstage segment here. So then we had Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was shown being seated on the floor. This was after Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial. Trainers were attending to Sami Zayn's injured ankle. So Jey Uso came up to one of the trainers. He kept saying, Sami Zayn is going to be okay. So that was that. And then we had Byron Saxton. Byron Saxton was backstage with Becky Lynch. Byron Saxton ended up wanting to ask Becky Lynch about last week. And then Nia Jax walked up. What was funny was Nia Jax ended up calling Byron Saxton Barney because he was wearing a purple suit. So Nia Jax ended up mentioning that Becky Lynch talked about having a few fights on the horizon. To which Becky ended up saying that Nia Jax is number one on the list. Becky ended up saying that she forgot all about Nia. But now that she interrupted the interview, she realized she needs to give Nia Jax a receipt. So Nia Jax ended up saying to Becky that when she's done squashing Shayna, she is all hers. She is all Becky's. And that was basically that. Who cares? Who cares? And then we went to Nia Jax versus Shayna Baszler. What a terrible, boring match this was. All this match was Nia Jax screaming. That's all this match was. Is hearing Nia Jax fucking scream through the match. That was the only highlight of this match here. So the match ended up starting. Nia Jax ended up charging at Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler ended up sidestepping Nia. Baszler ended up attacking Nia, but Nia ended up quickly throwing Shayna to the corner. Nia Jax avalanched Baszler, and she ended up throwing her across the ring. Baszler ended up avoiding an avalanche, and she connected with a step-up knee to Nia Jax's face. Baszler ended up grabbing Nia Jax's hand. Baszler ended up trying to pull, Nia Jax's body over the top rope to deliver a cross arm breaker, but Nia Jax ended up powering Shayna Baszler back in for a sit-out powerbomb. Baszler then rolled out of the ring to recover. Nia Jax ended up following Baszler outside, and she ended up bouncing Baszler off the commentary table. Nia Jax then bounced Baszler off the apron, and she ended up getting Baszler on her shoulders. Baszler ended up sliding off. She ended up driving Nia Jax into the LED ring post. Baszler got in the ring to break up the count. Baszler ended up going to the apron. She ended up kicking Nia Jax in her shoulder. Baszler ended up going to stomp on Nia Jax's hand on the apron, but Jax countered by sweeping Baszler's feet. So Baszler was lying over the bottom rope, and Nia Jax ended up leg dropping Baszler down on the bottom rope. So Baszler was grabbing her throat, and then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Baszler was in control of the match. She ended up applying a neck vice to Nia Jax. Nia Jax ended up fighting up, and she ended up hitting a jawbreaker to Baszler. I'm sorry about that. Nia Jax ended up applying the neck vice. Got my notes here a little mixed up. So Baszler ended up hitting some body shots to knock Nia Jax into the corner. Baszler ended up charging, but Nia Jax ended up flattening Baszler with a Uranagi. Nia Jax ended up sending Baszler's shoulder first to the ring post. She ended up going to the apron. Nia Jax ended up hitting a running hip attack to hit Shayna Baszler's skull into the LED ring post. So later on, we had Nia Jax end up delivering a Samoan drop to Shayna Baszler. At the end of the match, We had Nia Jax end up pulling Shayna Baszler into the corner. She ended up going to the second rope. Nia Jax ended up hitting the Annihilator. So there you go. Nia Jax ended up winning the match. Post-match, Becky Lynch ended up coming out. And Becky had a big smile on her face as she walked to the ring. Becky Lynch then got into the ring. Nia Jax, got out of the ring, wanted nothing to do with Becky. So Becky ended up pointing at Nia Jax, invited Nia Jax into the ring. So Nia Jax ended up backing away, and that was that. Overall, what a terrible, boring match this was. They're giving Nia Jax a big push. I mean, they can't push Candice LeRae, they can't push Indy Hartwell, and they can't push, Tegan Knox, but they give Nia Jax, a big push. Really now? Really, WWE? I'm not interested in seeing Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax. I mean, who could find that believable? It's going to be awful. Don't care. Don't give a shit. And by the way, did you all watch this match with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler? I bet all of you took NyQuil to just completely miss this match. This match was NyQuil inducing. And then we had Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, DIY. They were talking backstage. And they were approached by Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano's wife, and Indy Hartwell. So Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci of Imperium end up walking up. Vinci and Kaiser end up calling Ciampa and Gargano and Indy and Candice LeRae all losers. Candice LeRae ended up saying that Vinci and Kaiser will lose twice tonight. So Hartwell ended up saying, oh, that won't make Gunther happy. So Kaiser ended up telling Vinci not to mess tonight up. So Vinci ended up telling Kaiser the same. And they both end up walking off. And that was basically that. And then we had the 2 out of 3 falls match. DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa versus Imperium, Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. And this was a good match here. DIY, Gargano and Ciampa, they've been on a losing streak, so far. And I'm like, all right, why are they botching DIY here? Gargano and Ciampa should not be losing any matches, especially now that they reformed as DIY. So Ciampa and Kaiser started off the match. Both Ciampa and Kaiser locked up. Kaiser ended up powering Ciampa into the corner. Kaiser ended up going for a punch to Ciampa, but Ciampa ducked, started punching away at Kaiser. Kaiser ended up reversing the whip into the opposite corner and slapped Ciampa down. So Kaiser then started taunting the crowd. He put Ciampa in the corner. Giovanni Vinci tagged in, started punching away at Ciampa. Ciampa started punching back at Vinci and sent Vinci into the ropes. Vinci then ducked the clothesline from Ciampa, and he connected with a running crossbody block. Vinci ended up powering Ciampa up and uppercutted him into the corner. Vinci ended up clubbing the lower back of Ciampa, and Vinci tagged in Kaiser. Kaiser started punching Ciampa in his midsection. He kept raking Ciampa's face with his boots. Kaiser started taunting the crowd, and he kept sending Ciampa into the ropes for a back elbow. Kaiser ended up going for the cover, to which Ciampa ended up kicking out. Kaiser then applied an armbar. Ciampa started fighting up, and he kept slinging Kaiser face first to the corner. Kaiser ended up pulling Ciampa back and avoiding enziguri. Johnny Gargano ended up tagging in. Gargano took it to Vinci and Kaiser. He then hit the ropes, ended up hitting a tilt-a-whirl front slam on Kaiser. Gargano ended up kicking Kaiser back, and he ended up kicking Vinci down at ringside. Gargano then connected with a slingshot spear to Kaiser, and he tagged Ciampa in. So we had Gargano and Ciampa. They were going for the meet in the middle, but Vinci ended up pulling Gargano out of the ring. Kaiser then rolled Ciampa up. He ended up pulling on to Ciampa's tights because Kaiser had a handful of tights to pick up the first fall. So it was 1-0 for Imperium. So we had Imperium end up regrouping at ringside. Gargano ended up taking Vinci out with a cannonball off the apron. Ciampa then ended up wiping out Kaiser with the plancha. So DIY, Gargano and Ciampa, they posed on the commentary table. They were doing their thing. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had Gargano end up punching away at Kaiser, but Kaiser ended up shoving Gargano off, and Kaiser ended up hitting a inverted power slam. Kaiser then knocked Ciampa off the apron and tagged Vinci in. They ended up hanging Gargano upside down in the corner. They ended up hitting Gargano with some stereo attacks. So Imperium were getting ready to set up for the Imperium bomb on Gargano, but Ciampa ended up attacking Kaiser and held him back. Gargano then rolled Vinci up, so it was tied 1-1. So Ciampa ended up taking in. He started punching Vinci down. Ciampa ended up chopping away at Vinci and Kaiser. So Ciampa ended up taking both Vinci and Kaiser out with a double clothesline. And then Ciampa ended up hitting a dual flatliner reverse DDT combo on Vinci and Kaiser. Gargano ended up tagging in, and both Gargano and Ciampa ended up both delivering some stereo kicks onto Vinci. And then Gargano and Ciampa ended up hitting a stereo back suplex. So Gargano ended up knocking Kaiser out of the ring. Gargano hit the ropes, but Vinci ended up hitting a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, to which Vinci ended up going for the cover, and Gargano ended up kicking out. So at the end of the match, we had Vinci ended up pulling Ciampa out of the ring. Ciampa ended up sending Vinci into the ring steps. Kaiser ended up rolling Gargano up with a handful of tights, and then Ciampa ended up tagging in because Gargano ended up kicking out. So we had Ciampa and Gargano end up kicking away at Kaiser and took him down. And so Gargano and Ciampa end up hitting the meat in the middle to Kaiser. So there you go. Gargano and Ciampa ended up winning the match. Picked up 2 falls to 1. So there you go. Gargano and Ciampa, the right men to win it. Finally they needed this win after they'd been on a losing streak. So Vinci ended up saying that Kaiser will have to explain this loss to Gunther. And, this is all on Kaiser here. So Gunther's not going to like this. But overall, very good match this was. It's 2 out of 3 falls match. Really liked it. And then we had Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. They walked up to Natalya and Tegan Nox. Natalya and Tegan Nox, were getting ready to, have their match against Kayden Carter and Katana Chance. So Chelsea Green ended up making fun of Tegan Nox and Natalya. So Natalya was like, after they win against Kayden and Katana, they're coming after the women's tag team titles, and that they won't miss. So that was that. Don't care. I really don't. And then we had the Creed brothers. The Creed brothers, they had Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods on their shoulders, and the Creeds were doing squats, with, having Kofi and Xavier on their shoulders. So the Alpha Academy ended up coming up. Chad Gable ended up offering to train the Creed brothers. And the Creed brothers ended up saying to Chad Gable that they're going to stick with Ivy Nile. Maxine Dupree then put over Ivy Nile's strength, but Chad Gable ended up telling her not to sell herself short. Maxine Dupree then ended up putting Akira Tozawa on her shoulders, and she was doing squats, as well, with Akira Tozawa on her shoulders. Corny, absolutely corny. You gotta get your Alpha Academy and Akira Tozawa, cringe corniness segments. And then we had Damian Priest and Dominik Mysterio and JD McDonagh. They were there. We did not see Finn Balor or Rhea Ripley tonight. They were not on the show. So it was just Priest, Dominik, and JD McDonagh, for the Judgment Day tonight. So we had the three of them. They ended up seeing R-Truth in their locker room. R-Truth was trying to hook up in old TV, from like the 80s and 90s, 2000s, before HD TVs, came into play, before flat screen TVs, that we got now. So Priest ended up saying that he thought JD McDonagh was going to take care of this. So R-Truth ended up telling JD McDonagh that no one likes him. McDonagh ended up reminding R-Truth that he's not in the Judgment Day. So R-Truth ended up saying that they need to tighten up security in their locker room. Priest ended up saying neither Rhea Ripley nor Finn Balor are here tonight. So they need to handle the Creed brothers. So that was basically that. R-Truth is just, very funny. Him trying to hook up that old TV, was just great. And the TV had snow on it, just like old school where you couldn't get a reception to a channel and you would just see snow on it. And then we had Kayden Carter and Katana Chance versus Natalya and Tegan Nox. And for this match, we had Chelsea Green and Piper Niven on commentary for it. What a boring match this was. I mean, at least we got Kayden Carter and Katana Chance on the show. It's good to see them. I wish they were used, a bit more. Because they are a legit tag team. So Natalya quickly ended up tagging in. She ended up hitting Katana Chance with a military press power slam. She ended up going for the cover, to which Katana ended up kicking out. Kayden Carter ended up tagging in. She ended up flipping Katana Chance onto Natalya. She ended up going for the cover, to which Natalya kicked out. Katana's knee ended up landing on Natalya's jaw. So Kayden Carter ended up drop kicking Katana Chance into Natalya. Chance ended up throwing Natalya down. Kayden Carter ended up tagging in. She ended up taking Natalya down. Natalya ended up easily kicking Kayden Carter away and tagged in Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox ended up, taking out Katana Chance and Kayden Carter. Carter ended up getting out of a vertical suplex. She ended up kicking Tegan Nox in the head. Tegan Nox then sidestepped Katana Chance and elbowed her. Tegan Nox ended up hitting a cannonball in the corner. So Natalya then ended up tagging in. Katana Chance ended up avoiding the discus clothesline from Natalya, and she ended up hitting a code breaker to Natalya. Kayden Carter then tagged in, and both Kayden and Katana ended up putting Natalya on the top rope, but Natalya ended up hitting Katana Chance and Kayden Carter with a double powerbomb. So Natalya ended up attacking Kayden Carter. Carter ended up rolling through and ended up kicking Natalya in the jaw. Katana ended up tagging in and ended up hitting the kickstand on Natalya. And that was that. Kayden Carter and Katana Chance ended up winning the match. And Chelsea Green was not happy about Kayden and Katana Chance win this match. So Chelsea Green got on the apron. Chelsea Green was soon knocked off the apron, and that was that. But overall, the right woman ended up winning this match. Kayden and Katana, which I'm glad. I think Kayden and Katana, they need to get a big push. I think WWE needs to push Kayden and Katana more. They are very good, and they are a legit tag team. We need to give them a push because they are entertaining, and Kayden and Katana work really well together. But overall, terrible match it was. Boring. And then we went to, whoa! We went to Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes made his way to the ring. Everybody was going, whoa, in the crowd. You got to get your sing-along here for Monday Night Raw every single week with Cody Rhodes and also Seth Rollins. So Cody was in his ring gear, and we saw a replay shown of Nakamura spin the red mist into Cody's eyes last week on Monday Night Raw. So Cody came out and he was responding to Nakamura. So Cody on the mic, he kept saying the first time he laid eyes on the poison mist, he was a little boy. He kept saying that he was terrified of the man who did it. And that man was the Great Muta. He kept saying now that he's experienced it last week, his fears were justified. Rhodes ended up saying that he is not pointing fingers or casting blame. He ended up saying that if there's anyone to blame, it's him. Cody ended up saying that he should have paid attention to the hints Nakamura was dropping constantly. Cody ended up saying that he should have known he'd have a target on his back for his big aspirations and declared himself for the Royal Rumble. He ended up saying Nakamura has his attention as well as the crowds. He ended up saying there are two things they can do. Nakamura can emerge from the shadows and explain himself, or he can march down here and they can fight right now. So the lights end up going down in the arena. We had a spotlight on Cody. So Cody was waiting for Nakamura, but Nakamura didn't show. Cody ended up saying that he had a feeling. So we had Nakamura end up appearing on the Titantron. Nakamura ended up saying that he made Cody's eyes burn last week. And of course, Nakamura was talking in Japanese, of course. So Nakamura ended up saying that tonight he will open them. He will open Cody's eyes. Nakamura ended up saying that he will show Cody what he isn't seeing. The path they've taken is the same story. Nakamura ended up saying that he climbed the mountain. And when he said that, we saw footage of Nakamura winning the 2018 Royal Rumble. And then it was followed up by them showing Cody winning this year's Royal Rumble. So Nakamura ended up saying that both him and Cody lost their opportunities and that Nakamura fell into a bottomless pit. He ended up saying that they suffered the same humiliation, a fall from grace, with pages left unwritten. So Nakamura ended up saying that the devil in your mind whispers, you'll never make it back there, and that Cody has awoken him. Nakamura ended up saying that he wants to unburden Cody, and that he will take the story off Cody's hands. Nakamura ended up saying that he never got to finish his story, so he will finish Cody's. So Cody stood in the ring, and he turned quickly to see if Nakamura was there. So Cody ended up saying that he appreciates Nakamura explaining why he attacked him. Cody ended up saying that he doesn't rate or respect Nakamura, and that's never been part of his story to run away from a fight. He ended up saying that if Nakamura thinks he's the same, he can prove it. So that was what Cody had to say. But I'm looking forward to this, match with Cody Rhodes and Nakamura. I think it could come off good. And I like that they did, a good job, showing Nakamura's history. And, just by, them showing that, I'm interested in seeing, Cody versus Nakamura. Like I said, I think it could come off, really good. And then we saw Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce was on the phone, and Jey Uso walked in. Jey ended up asking Adam Pearce about Sami Zayn. Pearce ended up saying to Jey that they're still waiting to hear. Jey ended up saying that this is Drew McIntyre's issue and that it needs to be solved. Adam Pearce ended up saying that this is the biggest night of Jey's career and that he needs to focus on that. So that was basically that. And then Gunther walked in. And Gunther ended up saying that he has a few ideas for Adam Pearce. And then we had the Judgment Day versus the Creed brothers. And this was, a good match here. And the Creed brothers, they have just been phenomenal, since coming to Monday Night Raw. I think the crowd is invested in the Creed brothers. And, I think Brutus and Julius, they just work really well in the ring. And I like that they have, Ivy Nile, accompanying them. So the match got underway with Brutus and Dominik. Brutus ended up taking Dominik down. He ended up holding Dominik up, started marching around the ring with Dominik. Julius ended up taking in, and he had Dominik being handed off to him from Brutus. Julius started marching around with Dominik, which Dominik was still in the vertical suplex. Julius ended up finally taking Dominik down with the suplex. Dominik then ended up quickly tagging in JD McDonagh. Julius ended up taking JD down, ended up tagging Brutus in. Brutus ended up hitting a fireman's carry takedown to JD McDonagh, and then a fireman's carry into the corner. Brutus ended up sending JD into the ropes, ended up hitting a back body drop to McDonagh. McDonagh ended up quickly booting Brutus back, but Brutus ended up taking McDonagh down with another fireman's carry. So we saw R-Truth. R-Truth ended up making his way to ringside. He was sitting there, just watching the match. So Bruce and Julius, they continued to take it to McDonagh, and Bruce ended up attacking McDonagh. Dominik ended up blind tagging in. McDonagh pulled the top rope down to get Bruce out of the ring. Dominik then blindsided Julius off the apron, and then McDonagh ended up taking out both the Creeds with an ASI moonsault. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Dominik was going for the three amigos on Brutus. So Dominik ended up hitting two amigos, but Brutus ended up powering out the third one, and Brutus ended up delivering a vertical suplex to Dominik. So Julius and McDonagh ended up tagging in. Julius ended up taking McDonagh and Dominik down. He ended up hitting McDonagh and Dominik with a plethora of overhead belly-to-belly suplexes, which was really good because every time that Julius ended up hitting those overhead belly-to-belly suplexes, he ended up kipping up. So Julius ended up grabbing both McDonagh and Dominik, but McDonagh and Dominik ended up fighting Julius off. Julius ended up putting McDonagh in the corner, ended up sending Dominik out of the ring. Julius ended up powering out of a Poison Rana from McDonagh. He ended up getting McDonagh on his shoulders. So Bruce ended up going for the Bruce ball, but Dominik ended up pulling Bruce down. McDonagh then ended up hitting Julius with the Poison Rana. Dominik then tagged in. McDonagh ended up taking a very nasty landing with a somersault senton on Brutus. So Dominik ended up hitting Julius with the 619. Dominik ended up going for the cover, and Julius ended up kicking out. McDonagh then tagged in. Julius ended up hitting McDonagh and Dominik with a dual Northern Light suplex. So Bruce ended up tagging in. He ended up pouncing Dominik over the commentary table. And then Julius ended up pounding McDonagh onto his shoulders. So the Creed Bros ended up hitting the Bruce ball on McDonagh. So there you go. The Creed brothers ended up winning the match. Overall, this was a good match here with the Creed brothers. They have, the momentum. The crowd looks like they are going to be, they are invested in the Creeds. Overall, good match it was. And then we had Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was getting ready, and Adam Pearce walked up to Rollins. Pearce ended up saying to Rollins that he invited CM Punk to be here next week and wants him to sign a contract to Monday Night Raw. Rollins then cackled, He ended up saying that when Punk shows his true colors and it blows up in Pearce's face, Pearce will stay out of his way when he does what he has to do. So Rollins ended up saying that right now he has to focus on Jey Uso. Jey then walked up. He ended up saying that it took him 15 years to get this opportunity and that this is his night. So Rollins ended up laughing. He ended up saying that he feels Jey, but he'll stomp his face into the mat the first chance he gets. Jey ended up saying that he'll kick Rollins' face off the first chance he gets. So Rollins then ended up saying this is as friendly as they'll be. So Jey ended up saying that this is his night. So that was that. And then we had Dominik and Jaden McDonagh. They're recovering backstage. Damian Priest walked up to the both of them. McDonagh ended up saying that he wanted to blame the loss on R-Truth, but Dominik then shut that down. Dominik ended up saying that the Creed brothers are the real deal, and that Priest and Balor need to watch out. So Priest ended up telling Dominik and McDonagh to go get cleaned up. That was that. Main event. Jey Uso versus Seth Rollins. This was for the World Heavyweight Championship. Jey was dedicating this match to his uncle, who of course is the late great Umaga, and it's really sad was Umaga passed away on this date 14 years ago. Really liked Umaga, in the ring, very fast. I like that he had, he was accompanied by Armando Alejandro Estrada. Remember that? Armando Estrada going, Espérate, listen. And he used to pull off his glasses. He'd be like, listen to me. Yeah, but Umaga, was just, good in the ring. Of course, he was, Jamal. He was Jamal. When he was Jamal and Rosie, they were Eric Bischoff's, goons. 3-minute warning. But this was a decent match here. With Jey and Rollins. Of course, the crowd was doing Jey Uso. And then when Seth Rollins came out, everybody was doing the sing-along again, going, whoa. Ugh. We really need the two sing-alongs every single week with Cody and Rollins. Just turn it into American Idol. So the match ended up starting, both Rollins and Jey locked up. And Rollins ended up grabbing Jey's arm, started wrenching it. Jey then transitioned into a waistlock, but Rollins quickly ended up hooking a side headlock on Jey. Jey ended up whipping Rollins off, but Rollins ended up shoulder tackling Jey and ended up going for the cover, to which Jey immediately kicked out. So Jey ended up hooking a side headlock on Rollins, but Rollins ended up whipping Jey off and shoulder tackled Jey. And Rollins ended up going for the cover, to which Jey ended up kicking out at 1. Rollins then soon attempt a stomp, but Jey ended up moving and rolled Rollins up, to which Rollins ended up kicking out at 2. So, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Rollins ended up laying Jey out on the apron. He ended up pinning a running boot to Jey's head. Rollins ended up pinning a springboard senton bomb, which is followed up by a lion salt. So, Rollins ended up going for the cover, to which Jey ended up kicking out. Rollins then pulled Jey to his feet and started chopping away at Jey's chest. Rollins ended up pinning a snapmare ended up kicking Jey in the back. Rollins then connected with a back suplex, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Jey ended up kicking out. So Rollins got to his feet, ended up pulling Jey up. Jey then ended up blocking a back suplex from Rollins. So Rollins ended up clubbing away at Jey's spine. Jey ended up flipping through a back suplex and ended up hitting a back suplex into a neckbreaker on Rollins. So Jey ended up going for the cover, and Rollins ended up kicking out. Yeah, later on, Rollins ended up going for a pedigree on the apron, and Jey ended up lifting Rollins up. Rollins slid off. He ended up going for a powerbomb. Rollins ended up pulling Jey down, ended up going for the buckle bomb into the barricade, but Jey ended up fighting out. Jey then ended up dropping Rollins with a DDT on the floor, which is crazy. So we had later on, we had Jey end up avoiding a stomp from Rollins. He ended up catching Rollins with a spear. He ended up going for the cover, and Rollins kicked out of that. Jey couldn't believe that Rollins kicked out of the spear. Jey was setting up for a second spear. Rollins ended up kicking Jey, ended up hitting the buckle bomb. Rollins then hit the ropes, but Jey ended up catching Rollins with the spear out of nowhere. Jey ended up flying up to the top rope. He ended up hitting the Uso splash on Rollins. So Jey ended up going for the cover, and Rollins kicked out, to which the crowd was stunned at that. So Jey looked down at Rollins, and Jey ended up super kicking Rollins. He ended up hitting the ropes for a spear, but Rollins ended up intercepting Jey with a pedigree, which that pedigree looked absolutely awful. Absolutely awful pedigree from Rollins there. So Rollins followed up with the spear to Jey, and Rollins ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Seth Rollins ended up winning the match, retaining the World Heavyweight Championship. Post-match, Rollins pulled Jey to his feet. Jey rolled out of the ring to give Rollins the spotlight, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Drew McIntyre ended up laying out Jey with the Claymore. Rollins ended up going for a suicide dive to attack McIntyre, but McIntyre caught Rollins, and McIntyre ended up hitting Rollins with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex on the floor. McIntyre immediately cleared the commentary table off, and McIntyre put Jey, through the commentary table with a vertical suplex. McIntyre then stood over Jey, and he ended up shouting, "And the truth shall set you free." And that was how Monday Night Raw went off the air. But overall, this was a decent match between Rollins and Jey for the World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, we all knew that Rollins was going to retain the title. But there were points where we all thought that Jey was going to defeat Rollins. So they played into that. And then, Rollins, just intercepting Jey, as Jey was going to hit the spear, but Rollins intercepted him with the pedigree. I thought, like I said, that pedigree looked absolutely awful. But decent match it was. Overall, just a very mid Monday Night Raw it was. But anyways, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and there will be no reviews of Dynamite on Wednesday and SmackDown on Friday. I'll be busy. I'll be at work. So there will be no reviews of Dynamite and SmackDown this week. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later.